You know, we've been out of states with like 12 sections, 19 people use.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cicero regular town board meeting, May 25th, 2022, 6:30 p.m. Please silence your phones and please take note to 2 exits in the rear of the building and 1 exit up here. We'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag justice for all. Please remain standing. Remember those who sacrificed their lives. Texas and Buffalo this past week and a half. Anyone wish to speak prior on any of the agenda items? No? Okay. Does anybody wish to speak on the agenda items that are on this agenda prior? Why don't we get to when we get to that? Anyone else? Okay, move on. Counselor White?
Approval of abstracts. Move for the adoption of a resolution approving abstract numbers 19 dated 5/6/2022 and number 20 dated 5/17/2022.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed. Number 4, public hearing, consider a National Grid proposal to convert outdoor street lighting to LED. Accept National Grid proposal to convert outdoor street lighting LED. Proof of publication has been posted and provided. We will waive the reading. We'll open the public hearing. It is 6:37. I'm sorry, 6:34. Does anyone wish to speak on this? Come on up. Come on up to the podium, please. Just state your name and your address, please. Right up to the podium, right there. Yep, you got it.
My name is Donna Curtin. My business address here is 6300 East Tap Road. I actually do reside in Cortland. They did put in the National Grid LED lights, and I can appreciate the cost savings, but what the result was, the lighting is really inadequate. The way the LED lights work is they shine directly down, so there is no light, beyond that. So the streets wound up becoming quite a bit darker. I'm just bringing this to attention based on experience from where I live.
Thank you.
Ma'am, so you're referring to the overhead lights, correct? Okay. The public hearing tonight is on changing their freestanding posts, but they're not the overhead ones, so it's a different type of light, but I have that type of lighting on my street, and you are correct. They do not illuminate as large of an area, but I think National Grid is addressing that, aren't they, Ms. Fiorello?
I believe that those were either Bs, and now they're recommending that you go to C because
Stronger bulb.
so to a stronger bulb. So
But thank you for your comment, ma'am.
Anyone else? Well, with that being said, any comments from the board? No, we'll close the public hearing at 6:35. Move for the adoption of a resolution to execute an agreement with National Grid to convert the following lighting districts to LED. Town Underground LT 306, Decorative Underground LT-307, Private LT 308, and Town General.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those who vote no or abstain? Passed. You want this?
Next, excuse me. Next, we're going to be holding a public hearing considering a zone change from general commercial industrial to general commercial plus at 6352 East Taft Road and East Taft Road, tax map number 057.02-23.0. We will waive a reading and proof of publication has been provided. We'll open the public hearing. We will open the public hearing at 6:36 p.m. Would anyone wish to address the board?
Come on up.
Actually, that is really the reason I'm here. My property is adjacent, and when I built my building, the town required me to put in a swale and grade my property towards the back where the property is that you're talking about. And I have a real problem with flooding. And so that is kind of a big concern for me. Obviously you guys you don't know what's going in there, but my neighbors have not been required to address that, which is a big problem for me also. So depending on what they're building back there, there's not enough vegetation or greenage or land cover, and it's all, pavement or whatever. I might as well buy some canoes so I can get to my shop, so I can do my work, because it's a problem. All the years I've been there, I bet 20 to 25% of my property is unusable because of that swale and the flooding.
Have you filed drainage complaint with the town?
I did, and I did talk to Steve about it. The first time I filed the complaint, it's not here. So I did file another complaint.
How long ago was that?
Well, I filed it yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the first time I filed it, and I don't mean to be rude, I was told it never bothered you before, when in fact it did bother me. And I wasn't aware of what it was I needed to do to address it. I mean, I'm pretty naive about a lot of this stuff, and now I'm just getting upset. It is a problem. I mean, I don't mind the frogs and the snakes and, all the wonderful animals that I get to see but as the years go by, it gets worse. And the mosquito problem in the back is so bad that we can't even keep the back bay door open in the summertime. So, I mean, I'm not about stopping progress by any means, believe me. I love where I am, and I just want to be able to have a comfortable life there. Thank you.
Steve, can we have an opportunity? Did you go out there and look at it yet?
I haven't yet. I talked to Ms. Curtin just last week it was, and I wasn't where she filed the drainage complaint today, but I did ask her to do that. And
In
we will look
fairness
at
to
it.
him, he's worked with me on some other issues with the neighbors, and I think he's great. He's really great. He's very helpful. So, and I appreciate that.
I would like for, if possible, if we could look at this drainage problem first, leave this open. I'd like to get that solved before we move forward with anything else. It's just my take. But
Could I?
Please.
So,
yeah,
so I think Ms. Curtin's concern was relative to some development that occurred next to her property. And I wasn't aware of her previous complaint. So I told her I'd look into the development plans for that lot to be sure that
He
they
did.
did what they were required to do. Relative to the zone change, any development that occurs will be back before the town and the planning board later, and will be reviewed and addressed for drainage, that may affect any other property in the area.
Okay, yeah, so with that being said, I don't know that there's reason to delay, but could we have, if the applicant's here, could we have the applicant address the board with their plans so that we can consider that along with what's going on with you, ma'am? Okay.
Absolutely.
Would you mind letting them do that? And then we can come back and address that. Also, I'm sure that Ms. Fiorello and Mr. Procopio will be out to look at that issue. But whatever development does occur, as Mr. Procopio just said, they will have to account for drainage plans, stormwater management.
Yeah.
So it should not adversely affect your property.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, if the applicant wouldn't mind.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Jason Mallon, I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at the Syracuse Regional Airport Authority. I'm here with my associate Arjun Nair. He's our planner. We're here as representatives of the Syracuse Airport. We're just here talking about the zone change to keep all of the options open for the development of this property. Now, as you mentioned, there's a lot of drainage issues and everything, and there's a lot of wetlands there. Anything that we would propose the development right now, we don't have any definitive plans. Our board is not aware of any plans because we haven't presented anything to them yet. We have some ideas, but nothing set in stone. We're doing the market study right now that is going to determine some supply and demand and some market rates of certain industrial, possibly warehousing or something of that nature. But again, this is the preliminary stages right now of what we're doing. The zone change that we're looking for is just keeping all of those options available to us. And it's the GC plus zone is exactly what all of the Hancock Park parcels are.
Okay.
So again, any development that we would do, we would be back in front of the board and we would mitigate any of the water and actually probably, I don't want to make any promises, but dare I say, improve the situation over there. And for everybody else here, I just want to point out the parcels that we're referring to for the zone change are a little bit north, right there, right where your cursor is. Just kind of outline that. Down right there. Yep, to the right. You see that little grassy area? Right there, right where her cursor is. That's the two parcels that we're referring to, that we refer to as the old barracks parcel.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Are there any other comments, either for or against? All right, hearing none, we will close the public hearing. It looks, the TV's slightly blocking. It looks like it's 6:43,
42.
42. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Any board comments?
Nope.
I just say, I take, ma'am, I apologize. What was your name, ma'am? Ms. Curtin's concerned seriously, but the planning board will address any drainage issues when the parcels look to be developed.
And
So
we
thank
also-
you for coming and bringing that to our attention, though. I'll follow up in a couple of weeks with Mr. Procopio and Ms. Fiorello to see what they've been able to determine about your issues.
Yeah, Steve and Kate know water has become something of major interest of mine.
Yeah,
So I just-
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting you.
No, I,
Got ahead of myself. Yeah, we're taking the drainage issues a lot more, even more seriously than in the past, and we'll follow up on that. Thank you.
You all set?
All right, so. Resolved, the Cicero Town Board adopts a resolution declaring the application of the Syracuse Regional Airport Authority for a zone change from GC General Commercial and IN Industrial to GC Plus or General Commercial Plus for the property located at 6352 East Taft Road and East Taft Road. Tax map number 057.02-23.0 is a type 1 action for the purpose of seeker evaluation. The proposed action involves no other permit granting authorities outside the town. The proposed action does not have a negative impact on the environment and therefore does not require the appropriation of a draft environmental impact statement. Proposed local law will be number 3 of 2022. Need a second?
second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move the adoption resolution approving the application of the Syracuse Regional Airport Authority for a zone change from GC and IN to GC Plus for the property located at 6352 East Taft Road and East Taft Road, tax map number 057.02-23.0, to be known as local law number 3 of 2022.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution approving the expenditure of $4,685.14 to purchase 2 automated external defibrillators for 2 Cicero police vehicles utilizing ARPA funds.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
police mutual aid agreement outside service by local law enforcement. Move the adoption of resolution approving the mutual aid agreement outside service by local law enforcement.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Metal pipe purchase. Move the adoption of resolution approving the Cicero Highway Department to purchase CMP pipe from Crossroads Highway State Bid number 23187 in the amount of $20,000. Budget code DB 511045.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Thank you.
Asbestos abatement. Move for the adoption of a resolution approving the expenditure of $6,900 to have Environmental Contracting and Construction Services LLC to remove 62 feet of asbestos pipe from a drainage job. Budget code DB 511242.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Thank you.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to authorize the supervisor to execute the fireworks permit and accept the $100 permit fee, Town Code Chapter 109-1G from American Fireworks Display LLC to be held Friday, July 1st, 2022 at dark. The sponsor of the show, Lakeshore Yacht and Country Club, Germania Services Group, Inc. at 6777 Lakeshore Road, Cicero, New York. All acquired signatures have been obtained. Revenue code A1255.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Cicero, I'm just gonna read the resolution part. Move the adoption resolution that the town board approves the contract with PVC Exteriors LLC to install a new roof at the Cicero Police Department located at 6200 State Route 31, Cicero, New York, 13039 for $22,000, which does include prevailing wage. Paid for $14,000 from budget code B3120465 and the remainder from ARPA funds.
Second.
Discussion? I think there was a discussion about this.
If there's a question about the warranty and how long the warranty is, or this subject to their.
Okay, subject to verification. Okay, regarding the warranty and if there's some other issues. Okay,
All right, so I'll.
Do we have to amend that?
I'll do it so we don't need to.
okay, go ahead.
I'll amend the resolution to make it subject to verification of the warranty and types of materials.
Second.
Discussion? Oh. Okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed.
Completing seeker for SAM grant project. Resolved, the town board declares that seeker has been completed in regards to the SAM grant project splash pad and enhancements at William Park and has determined that this project will not have a negative action on the environment. The town is obtaining the necessary permits and agency approvals to move forward with the project.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed. Approve the purchase of vent track tractor and attachments. Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve an expenditure of up to $45,000 to Grassland Equipment to purchase a new vent track 4520Z tractor with attachments for the Parks Department utilizing ARPA funds. The equipment will include a 72-inch and a renovator groomer and drag for field maintenance work. Note, the vent track unit has attachments for snow blower and a cab if the town highway department or the town board wishes to purchase that in the future for snow removal of the sidewalks.
Second.
Discussion? We have some, why doesn't Bill come up and talk and Teresa, if you want to speak as well?
Oh, this is a piece of equipment that we've needed for a long time. It has existed for a long time. Since Toro bought the company Ventrac, they've upgraded the hydraulics and made it a lot more user-friendly and powerful. As we've discussed tonight, water is a real issue, especially on our fields in the spring and the fall. This piece of equipment articulates in the middle for turning, and it's four-wheel drive, and you can add a second set of wheels, which creates 8 wheels. It floats very well on very wet areas, which is great, especially when you're at Central Park and the grass is a foot high because you cannot get on it with any piece of equipment. Also, we have 13 baseball fields that we take care of and a little tractor with a drag on it. and 4 guys that are also taking care of our senior center, teen center, town hall, and 200 acres we mow. So time is always of the essence. This piece of equipment will cut the time down to about a third, and our infields will look a lot better. Mike Aragano came out and watched the demonstration. I think he was as impressed as I was. Very well. It will definitely be a time saver, and our parks will look better if we have this piece of equipment longer, further into the fall, and they will better earlier in the spring.
Bill, why don't you tell them how the groomer works by cutting?
Yeah, the groomer is great. The first, it's a whole line of equipment that goes behind this. The first piece of equipment cuts like a sod cutter. So it'll get under the roots, get everything up. Then it gets tore up by some tines, then a little drag, and then a roller. And then you can tow a mat behind it. So once you've got everything established and you've done this a few times, it makes the following trips with this piece of equipment much, much, much better. So it definitely will make things look sharp. Flips on baseball fields, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. It's great for that. You don't have to run a side cutter anymore. Now with this thing, that cut will take care of it quickly. You still have handwork. You still have to get on there with brakes and get everything off. But getting it to that point is much quicker and less laborious.
Thanks.
How quickly will we get it?
They have just about everything in stock except for the drag. So we've been following them closely.
Okay.
Shrunk the size of the mower deck down because they had one in stock, and I don't think I want a giant mower deck anyway.
And if we're asking the Parks Department to mow these other 4 fields that are in the Central Park, which are extremely wet during the springtime and whenever it rains in the middles and the areas, this thing can.
Almost unstoppable.
It's almost unstoppable, but I did get it stuck. Hide those photos and videos, please.
Operator issues.
Operator error. Teresa, you want to comment on this? Thank you, Bill.
No, not really. He
Okay.
covered everything. I was just really impressed to see an area that we would never have been able to even think about going out to mow because we could see floating water, and this thing drove right out there and cut it. So knowing that we can get on the fields when we haven't been able to do it in the past, and knowing that adding these attachments, they can do all 3 things instead of one, and then coming back and doing the second and doing the third, like they're going to save a lot of time doing that. So very excited if we have the opportunity to purchase this.
And depending on if we wind up snow blue on the sidewalk this year or however that works out, they also have a snow blower attachment for it and a cab that goes on it. So we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. In the wintertime, we can allow the highway to use it if this will work. And in the summertime, take the cab off, which isn't very hard to take off, and then use it. And the attachments come off within, I'd say, 20 seconds. So that might be a way to go instead of spending $18,000 a year on a snow blower. If this will work, it would be great. Any other discussion? Any board
Yeah.
comments?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, I'm very pleased, very happy everything's working out. We're showing that we're investing in Little League and I'm just happy. A lot of people use that park. People from outside the town of Cicero see that park. And it's just happy to see that we're investing and care about how it looks. And I'm happy it's going to get done faster for our team here.
Do we know how much the attachments are going to be, or maybe for the snow blower and cab?
Yes, I do have that. Okay, so then there's additional things too, like, lighting and other kits, the cab, strobe light, hazard lights, all of that kind of stuff. But the cab is basically $7,300. If you want to install the heater, he gave me a spreadsheet of everything that we might possibly want to add to it. The spreader, if we decide we want the spreader, is $5,300. The snow blower itself is $5,100. If we want the V blade, is $28. So it kind of depends on what we pick and choose to go with it, but including everything that he thought imaginable that we might want to put onto it was $24,000.
That's the works though.
Yeah.
If we just wanted a
I'm
snow
not
blower
sure
and a
that we
little
would
heater.
want all of those, yeah.
Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Wish to vote no or abstain? Passed. Tonight, we will be going into executive session. We'll read that after the input, public, after discussion here, public input. So discussion tonight, just a reminder, Memorial Day Parade is on Monday at noon. If anybody wishes to walk or drive a car or anything, just let us know. Grievance Day has been postponed. We had some illnesses in the assessor's office, so it's closed most of the week. John, Counselor Carp, do you want to comment on what you were able to achieve this
Oh,
week?
sure. I wasn't sure where we were going. Everyone's obviously aware of the tragic events in Texas yesterday. Last night, I reached out to Chief Fortuno and he and I were able to coordinate with North Syracuse School District, asking them if they were looking for additional SRO, school resource officers, for their elementary schools, because they're not typically posted there. I am proud to say that we will be posting Cicero police officers in the Smith Road, Lakeshore Road, and Main Street elementary schools until the end of the school year, and we'll engage in further discussions with the district after that to see where we go from there. So obviously can't be too careful. It's a public safety issue. The schools are obviously an attractive target for people with serious mental health issues, so glad we're able to work something out. And I think that, you know, judging from what I'm seeing, there's a very positive response from the community. I think it's something we can all agree on is necessary. Thank you.
The next three items were pickleball courts, pole banners, and new decorative signs throughout the town that I want to ask the board if they're willing to engaging in putting some funds away from the ARPA funds to put a pickleball court up, possibly at the Plank Road Park. Purchasing some pole banners that you see in different communities down the roads on the sides on the telephone poles. There's some ideas about maybe making Route 31 from Lawton Road to 31, maybe a military look that way. Maybe in the four corners up here this way, maybe making it look like somewhat of a fire department. I know Cicero, North Syracuse Chamber, they're willing to head this project up and maintain them as we can. And Bridgeport was kind of receptive to it, and so was Brewerton Chamber. So I'd like to, have some monies, if we can put some monies away for that project, and some new decorative signs throughout the town to replace the signs that you see on 81 that are deteriorating, getting rusty, and it'd be nice to give the town a nice new facelift with some of the money we have.
With regard to the pole signs, just thinking about my own law firm's experience, I mean, when we had a North Syracuse one, we paid to have our business name on there. And I understand honoring, and I'm, honoring firefighters, law enforcement, military, but if we also considered possibly defraying some of the cost with business names
Correct.
being on there?
Correct.
Okay.
That would be, but to initially start the main banner, like underneath, you got to pay for that banner with your name on it.
Sure.
The tall banner, the top banner.
No, and I understand that. I
That's-
mean,
that's the
obviously,
one.
I'm assuming the business at least partially funds the
Correct.
rest of it.
Correct.
I mean, I'm certainly open to discussion. I think it looks nice. I'd just like to know more specifics about what the total cost is going to be, what we anticipate we'd be able to raise from these businesses that are going to have their names on there, et cetera.
Sure. Absolutely.
And same thing with the decorative, okay, go ahead. You want to say something on that one, Mike? Finish. Oh, and the same thing with the decorative signs. I mean, the one that I see a lot is and it's obstructed by weeds sometimes. The welcome to Cicero sign that's on Northern Boulevard when you head in from Carrier Circle. I mean, I'd like to know what like the welcome to Bridgeport signs that I'm assuming the United Nation paid for, that you see. I'd just like to know what that costs. I mean, I'm open to discussing that. I just have no idea what the cost for something like that would be. And I'd like to get an idea before I commit to anything.
Sure.
I mean, I know like the Village of Fayetteville has these beautiful stone signs. I'm assuming those are exorbitantly expensive, so we wouldn't be doing anything like that. I have no idea what these things cost. So I'm open to discussing it, but I don't know if this is a $10,000 item or a $50,000. I have no idea.
No, that's why we're just having a discussion
I'm
about it.
certainly not opposed to the concept, just need to know more about it.
And then the pickleball courts that were,
Were you gonna, because
I agree 100%. My big thing with the banners, maintenance of them. I really care about the maintenance of those down the road. I've been to villages that have new ones, looks awesome. And I've been to places where they've been kind of decrepit.
and that would
The
be,
maintenance, the ongoing maintenance, I really, we'll figure out a way to make sure that gets worked out.
we would make sure, absolutely.
And I do know people in a different town that have one of those banners. I mean, so are you talking like people that live in the town that were in the military, that are gonna have their picture and their name on it, kind of a thing?
It could be. It could be, we'd have several options. We'll look
Okay.
at, we'll look at every option we possibly can.
Yeah, because even that,
That would
they,
look
you know,
nice.
like the family paid for.
Right.
So it wasn't like that, you know, we just did it for it. They just had it done for them. I think those are gorgeous. And I think Central Square has some too, don't
They do.
they?
Central Square does. Mike, you had something you wanted to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about?
The last, so Saturday, Friday and Saturday last week, Fort Brewerton and Oliver Stevens Blockhouse Museum, as well as Parks and Rec, put on, I thought, an awesome event. It was the memorial walk honoring some of our past residents here in Cicero. I'd like to thank, she's not here, but Nicole Walsh, our tax receiver, did a phenomenal job. And I appreciate everybody who showed up. It was a pretty awesome event. We're going to do it again in, I believe, November. So I'm excited for that. Show up to it. It's a good
Yeah,
event.
usually we do it right around October, so the end of October or first weekend. Yeah. I heard you were pretty good at acting as well.
Appreciate it.
I gotta say this.
I had hair.
The other discussion item that we didn't touch base on was pickleball courts. It's pretty big thing these days with our folks in the town, and it'd be nice to install some more. I mean, they took over the park or the pickleball courts over at the park on Taft Road. There's what, 3 over there? 4, 3,
The
2?
one tennis court that we have can be converted to have 4, 2 on each half of the tennis court.
And maybe install some, and get some estimates, install one up at the Lake Road Park.
Sure, I'm curious about what effect that might have. I mean, I know there's some water issues there. I got kids that play soccer there now, and it kind of feels like you're walking in a bog sometimes. So if we're going to introduce,
Not in this area.
if you're going to introduce a surface that's not absorbent, I'm just curious as to what kind of effects it might have on the drainage. So I want to, I have some concerns there I'd like to discuss with the Parks Director and the town engineer.
Yeah, the area that, again, we haven't really come up with any kind of plan, but initially last year when I was looking into putting in some applications for possible grants for pickleball, we kind of evaluated which park or the ideal probably location and thought that Plank Road would be best suited for it. In the area that we thought would work the best is where there's kind of a mound there now. It's where there's some outdoor fitness equipment on the overflow parking lot, just as you come in. That equipment isn't used anymore. It's old anyway. We would probably take that out and try to either install them there or take some of that mound out, but put it in that vicinity. I don't have any costs or anything like that yet, but regardless, and I don't know if you're going to bring this up next, pickleball is huge, and I think it would be a great addition to the town. We should definitely plan that in the future. But if it's going to go at Plank Road, I think we need to address the parking issue there first. To add any more, traffic in that area. No one replied to my emails on the quotes and stuff that I got, but what we need to do, I know it's expensive, but when I put in the grant request for like $350,000 it's more like $400,000 for the pickleball, it was knowing that probably 275, 300,000 would go for parking. and then like 120,000 would go for the pickleball courts. I don't think we should just go in and put pickleball courts there until we enhance the parking there. And the big problem with the parking is that it is not striped. And there's big chunks, millings were put in there years ago, and I'm just really surprised that we haven't had more problems over the years with safety and or people rolling their ankles or problems in the parking lot. I really want to thank the VIPs for stepping up and helping us this season with soccer there. We have over 600 kids registered, over 600 kids, okay? So on Saturdays, when all the games are there, they counted over 500 cars. Over 500 cars come in there every Saturday for games. And it's, if they weren't there to help direct it, the people just kind of park on their own because there's no striping and the parking lots are not square. So it makes it extremely difficult. I know we can stripe it, but it's pointless to waste the money to bring in someone to stripe the lot because right now there's not binder there. So literally with all that traffic within a couple days, the stones turn and the paint just, it's like dust, it just would disappear. So as it is now, we stripe every Friday. We go in and we do two main lines in the main parking lot to at least assist people with knowing where 4 lines of parking can work. But if we can possibly set aside any money from the ARPA funds for the binding part of that project, we can do some in-house work. Highway has met with us out there on how we can add some stone and pick up some of the millings and make it a little more square. If we can add the binder, then I think we could go in next year. I could try to put it in my budget to come back over and do the stone and oil and stone it on the top. And then we would be golden there for years and years.
So for now, Chris, is there a way you can get somebody to give us a quote to grade both parking lots? And your guys bring the stone in and they go over it. I want to regrade it.
Right.
The first right, and then restone it, and then we'll look at. Okay, if you can give me a quote on that, that'd be great. In the meantime, I think I'm going to see if I can grab Bill Ellie sometime, or I did get a quote for to stripe it was 1,700. Maybe if Bill Ellie and I can go out there sometime this next week and put some striping down in some areas of the parking lot, just to see what it does for a week. And if it does come up, to see if it is a waste of money.
We are doing that now. We've been
Just the
doing it
middle. Is the middle gone? Does the middle go away?
last week.
It doesn't stripe individual spots. It does help with the fact that you don't have these curved, and you don't have people parking 3 deep, which I saw on opening night there. Mr. Wozniak, because I had asked and not got, so I asked you for a quote for just laying down runner crush. Would that quote, which you gave me a dollar amount, would that also include the grading it? Can your people do that also? Okay, I mean, I thought that quote was pretty reasonable. Discussed that.
Just
So,
for runner crush?
yeah, including the grading. I mean, obviously at the time is a concern, especially when we're in paving season, we'll probably have to wait a little while, but
Right.
I don't know if the type of paint that would be used for striping would last longer than regular spray paint. I have no idea.
No, that's what it is.
Is it just
It's a
regular?
water-based spray. That's
Okay.
all it is. Yeah. Yeah, just the line paint. Yep. Anything else? Alka?
The courts themselves, are they pickleball specific, or are they be tennis courts that can be converted to pickleball courts?
They would be pickleball and something
Specific,
smaller,
okay.
so.
Yep.
And I think what they're hoping, would be like six or 8 courts. So you can put 4 on on a size of a regular tennis court. The problem, is too, that it's not as easy as just going in and putting, asphalt or the surfacing down. You definitely need to have like fencing and or windscreens added to, because they're like wiffle balls that they play with, and like they're very light. So there's, that would be part of the budget as well. But yeah, I would hope to put in, about 6 of them. And, if they wanted tennis, yeah, the group that's asking for this was like, oh yeah, can we do one They wanted 2 tennis courts and 6 pickleball. We have plenty of space over there, but it would totally require taking down trees and kind of vamping the outlet of the park. I think that we can do this, we could do 6 courts and not have a problem, with having to take much out.
That's it. Elka, you want to speak on behalf of the new system that we're looking at for timekeeping?
Yes, good evening. Our armed IT professional, Wayne Freeman, and myself, for the last several months have met with 4 different vendors trying to find a good finance timekeeping package. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on where we are. I think we're close to making a decision. We've gone with with 4 big players in the municipal accounting software. We've looked at getting the latest edition of the software that we have, which I wasn't that impressed with. We've been looking at Tyler Technologies, which the town of Clay uses. And you're looking at the Springbrook KVS, which is a very nice system that the town of Salina uses. And we've been looking at Edmunds financial software too. I think we're close to making a decision. I just wanted to let you know that you'd be getting some emails this week breaking down the costs, but we're looking at a Kronos payroll HR module that would then integrate with whatever accounting software that we choose. So just to let you know, things are coming. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Trace.
I'd just like to make an announcement if I could, please. I have coordinated a boater safety course once again. It's going to be held right here at the Cicero Town Hall on Sunday, June 26th. The instructor is Pat Sacco. It's going to be from 9 to 5. It's $40. You can go directly on New York State parks.ny.gov to sign up and register, and that registration will go right to the instructor. And I am pleased to do this because, as everyone knows, the Brianna law, it's very clear that those born on January 1st, 1988 will need a boater safety certificate beginning in 2022. And it goes on with that. So it is required, and I did put a flyer together, and it's in the back room if anyone is interested in attending it. Thank you so much.
Tracy, is it on the website also? It's on their website.
But I do have our brochure and the link that'll go directly to the link that is on this. It'll directly take you right to the Cicero Town Hall, and you just check register now, and it's that easy. It goes right on. The link goes right to Cicero Town Hall.
Yeah.
Training
Can we get it on our website
Of
also?
course. Thank you.
And on that note, Wayne, I know you're busy. Do you know when our new website is going to be worked on? Okay, okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, just want to know where we're at. Anyone else? No? Public input. Anyone would like to say, come on up.
Tom Bazikian, pardon me for not knowing everything I need to know on item number 7, police agreement. When I just read this as it is, and I'll just abbreviate some words, it says, move to adopt use of outside police help. Perhaps I'm reading that wrong. Maybe we're giving the help. But if it's the first one that we have insufficient police service here, it seems to me that public safety is very important. And my question, or maybe my concern, I don't know if we can talk back and forth. Do we have enough police to police the city ourselves, or do we have to hire outside services? In my experience with the latter is insufficient response time, that is poor response time. And it seems to me the town, the council should want to put public safety first. And if we have, I don't know how many even offices we have for a shift, But this is a concern. Are we hiring outside help because we don't have enough internal help? Or maybe I have it all mixed up. That's my concern.
I'll speak briefly on that. if the
Go-
board
go
doesn't
ahead.
mind. This is a mutual aid agreement. I mean, mutual aid already takes place if there is a serious incident and there's not enough officer. I mean, give an example, there was the shooting at Destiny USA, I don't know, what was it, within the last year. I mean, there's an active shooter, pretty much every law enforcement agency in the county sent cars there. So this is not, I mean, the police will always tell you they'd like to have more officers on duty at any time, but this is not indicating that we don't have enough and we're contracting with outside entities. This is just an agreement formalizing the procedures in place when mutual aid takes place, which is already happening. You know, so this is really just clarifying some responsibilities and costs and whatnot in the event of an emergency when one agency has to help another one out.
So it's procedural, I suppose, to formalize what we already do.
Correct.
Yes, and the mutual aid's already going on anyway. That's exactly right. Correct.
So then the second half of my question is, do we have enough police to not use outside help to come in?
I mean, depending on the nature of an incident that might occur, you know, God forbid, you know, what happened in Texas, if that happened at one of our schools, I don't know if you have enough, you're going to see everyone. So depending on what happens, I mean, you know, we've got usually three cars on. Other towns have more. I mean, there's cost associated with additional police. But I don't know that it would be possible to say that in every scenario, we're going to have enough, because if you've got 3 cars on and they're all dealing with a car accident, a domestic dispute or something, and then you have another incident and it's an emergency, you know, you could have 5 cars on and they could all be tied up doing something legitimate. And you might need someone if it's an emergency, a robbery or a shooting or something. So it's impossible to say.
So there are only 3 cars in this entire town per shift.
Mr. Freeman, that's accurate, correct?
That's correct.
And depending on the shift, but
That's correct. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4. Sometimes it could be 5. That's a rare case.
Okay. So I consider that to be insufficient based on the size of the town, the population of the town. Where I come from, a little town in Rhode Island, which is the same shape as Manhattan, same number of people, almost the same size as Manhattan. There are 11 cars in a day, 9 and 9. So it's just a concern. I wanted to pass it forward. You know, there's a big school that way. There's a whole bunch of little schools, and it's different today than it was even last week. That's all, just expressing concern. I thank you very much for listening.
understand, thank you.
Anyone else? No one else wants to speak? Okay,
Can't wait for your mics. Move to adopt a resolution at our executive session related to the employment of related to the employment of a particular person and matters dealing with the appointment or employment benefits and compensation of that person, and any other matters that might properly come before the board.
and we're going to invite the town attorney
Town attorney,
and Kate Fiorello.
Oh, okay, yeah, for part of that, yes.
Correct.
Second.
Good. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We will not be reconvening, correct, Mr. Supervisor?
Correct, we will not.
Thank you.
Thank everyone for coming. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be gorgeous out.
Let the record reflect Ms. White is present. Well, we said we weren't going to reconvene. We moved to an executive session, yeah. All right, move to reconvene for the purposes of adjourning the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.